What's up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. And today we are taking a first look at the new library from Vir2 called Apollo 2 Cinematic Guitars. So this library is a follow-up to their original Apollo library, which featured a kind of a similar style of instruments like cinematic guitars, but they really took the best elements of the first Apollo and redesigned the interface and created this entirely new Apollo 2 library with entirely new samples and a redesigned interface as well. And so I wanted to take a look at it with you guys today because in my personal collection, I have a bunch of kind of electric and acoustic guitar libraries meant for singer-songwriter stuff, maybe some scoring situations, but I didn't really have any libraries that suited a particular ambient sort of style in terms of like the cinematic ambient guitar instruments that you hear in a lot of trailers and a lot of big expansive like sci-fi type of movies. That's the type of vibe that this library kind of gives me. And hopefully you can find this sort of thing useful as well, because we'll do a giveaway at the very end as well. Vir2 is very kind to offer a free copy here as well. But yeah, well, let's take a quick look here at the page. So the intro offer is $349.95, so $350 intro price, regular $400. And this intro offer ends in just less than a week, October 26th. And then there are 5 guitar engines in this one interface, over 220 presets, lots of guitars, 36 gigabytes of new sample content, and then lots of ambient performances and chromatically sampled guitars. And then you can hear it in action, everything like this. Watch the walkthrough, which I would highly recommend you do just to get all the understand the entire library to its fullest potential, because they do a great job kind of uncovering every single detail, which won't have time to do here today in this video, but yeah, let's just quickly dive in here. So essentially what we need to understand about this library is it's essentially split into 2 main folders. So there is the Ambient Designer, and then there's the Instruments folder. So the first question is, what's the difference, right? The Instruments folder basically contains all the chromatically sampled instruments and is specifically designed for you to create your own melodies and themes from. So whereas the Ambient Designer lets you take certain loops and rhythms and then use those as a foundational bed, and you can also do whatever sound design you want to both of these patches. The Instruments patch, on the other hand, is where you would want to put most of your melody focus on. So there's less like rhythmic stuff here. It's actually, I can quickly show you here. So if we click one of these options, you can see there's these different categories of samples. So there's bowed samples, there's E-bow, like electronic bowing. There's harmonics, there's picks, like 22 different picks, reverse pedals, swells, and taps. Whereas if we look at the different options here for the Ambient Designer, we're going to see a lot more loop type of stuff. So here you can see we have simple phrases, right? We have swells, there's tapping there as well, there's single notes, but it's a lot more arpeggiated stuff, rhythms. Here you can see arps up here, right? And then they also give you dry and wet samples of each as well, so you can add your own reverbs if you want to for these samples. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So instruments are more for melodic purposes, so you can play individual notes, whereas the Ambient Designer suits really well for rhythmic purposes. That gives you a ton of loops, and then you can create your own beds and foundational soundscapes from this one patch. Okay, let's kind of dive in and let me play some of these for you. So these are just out of the box. Let me just play a couple of these instruments here. So the GUI shows these 5 different engines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're kind of different color coded. And there's some different sounds included in each one. And then here at the very bottom on the contact keyboard, you can see that there's these different, colors of keys here. So the yellow basically determines engine 1, the instrument that's loaded in engine 1. So if we just play this a little bit, actually, let me make sure I'm selecting this one here. So here we go. This is the instruments. So we have the yellow key range, which is all the way from the low A basically, all the way to the high B. And then after that, we have the purple key range, which is for engine number 2 or instrument number 2, going from this C to the E. Then we have engine number 3, which is the E bowing, going from this F all the way up to this B, and so on and so forth. And then instrument 4, instrument 5. So you can play 5 instruments at the same time, which is really cool. So if we give that a go, I'm playing the C from engine 2, which is pick number 5. If I play the E-bow at the same time for engine 3, right, the E-bow has more of this harmonic foundation. It's more of a pad, right? So I can even play ponophonically here. So let's say I like that as my soundscape, very basic soundscape, just a C major chord. I can play a melody with the pick 5 in Engine 2. So right? And then of course you can play multiples, so you can play completely ponophonically if you want to. These all have different types of sounds there. So out of the box, like this is what they present you with. And you have volume, pitch, pan knobs, right? Low and high cuts, which is really cool. It's just a really easy EQ. So let's give this a shot. Let's play a G there. Take out a lot of the highs. This way, take out a lot of the lows, right? And then you can just bring it in like this as well if you want to. If you want to swap out the sounds, it's really easy. You can just click on this and then choose a different one. So let's say instead of pick 5, I want to go with pick 14 with a reverb and delay. Okay, then down here at the very bottom, let's click the keyboard tab. Let's say we want to extend the range of this instrument. So right now the range is basically from C to E. So it's a 10th. And you can see here C1 to E2. Let's say we want to extend that. I'm going to bring it down to, let's say, F sharp 0. So now instead of C, I can go down even further. Right? So if I play the F sharp and the G here, F sharp 0, G 0, it's going to also trigger this instrument down there. Now, I'm also hearing Engine 1 because this key range is kind of overlapping. So I'm going to bring the highest key range down here. So now we have only Engine 2 showing up here in purple from this F sharp to the G all the way up to this high E there. So you can always extend the ranges however you want to, okay? Really, really cool. You can, of course, trigger the velocity, how hard you want to hit the key for it to trigger, things like that. Do you want to transpose the sample, so on and so forth. And they have a whole bunch of sound design options, effects you can apply, the sequencer, all that stuff. Again, check out the official walkthrough video for this. But it's really cool how you can switch sounds in and out and then play them ponophonically. One other thing you can do is add legato to any performance as well. So if we click legato here, right, you get the scripted legato engine that kind of comes in and adds a legato to it. So really, really cool if you want those really connected sort of themes. So you want to click the performance tab, and then that's when this kind of shows up, this legato button there. All right, and then really quickly, let's take a look at one of these presets maybe. So you click on the camera tab here. Instead of default instrument, we're going to go with, let's say, split keys, accompany. This is just one of these here. So here we can see that engines 1, 2, and 3 are engaged, whereas 4 and 5 are left out. Of course, we don't always activate them if we want to, but we don't need to here. Let's have a listen to what this kind of sounds like. So make sure we click on the right tab here. Okay, so we hear this nice pad sound design, right? And this is how engine 1 and 2 are layered in together. They both have these pick sounds, but they're extended with this nice pad. And then we're going to expect 3 because it says tapping 1 dry. That's going to be more of a melodic element here. So let's have a listen. You can hear the legato is already triggered here by default. So I'm holding the soundscape down with my left hand in this dark blue range, and then the melody I'm playing on top here in the right hand. So maybe I'll turn off the legato for a second. There we go. Let's play maybe a different key here, F sharp major. Right, so super inspirational. It gives you some great starting points here. And just with this one instruments patch, you can really just add that soundscape on the bottom and then add that melody on the top. So let's take a quick look here at the ambient designer now. So very similar approach. The engine basically looks kind of like the same. But again, the phrases that are built in here are naturally more rhythmic. So again, it's serving more of a bed purpose, like a foundational purpose. So now I can talk about this correct keyboard display, whereas I switched it up at the beginning. But yeah, the yellow here is for engine 1, and then these little blue ones at the top are ending samples for that loop. So let me just play a quick loop here. Let's see. Okay, let's turn the volume down a little bit. So, and it's just going to repeat as long as I hold it. So right now it's playing an F major sort of thing, F major loop, and the green key switches here at the very top determine the actual starting note. So right now it's selecting an F. Let's maybe click a C. So now it's going to be doing C major, right? If I select this higher F here, then it goes to the F an octave higher. Now let's say I want to end this loop, so I'm going to click one of these blue keys here. Just like that. And it cuts off the loop that was previously playing, and it ends that ending sample. Let's do one more. Or maybe I'll choose a different loop. And then I press that ending sample. Let's try a different one. So let's go to engine number 2. I'm going to play in this purple key range. Let's maybe do C here. So a nice arpeggiated thing here. One more time, and then I'm going to click the blue key range here. Right, it just adds that ending note, which can trail off and it can end your phrase. So obviously you can combine multiples of these. Let's change the key range. Sorry, let's change the key of this phrase. So now we're going to go to B flat major. Let's go to D major. Right, so super cool how you can set up those foundational beds there. Then we have this major or minor toggle. So the black key selects major, the white key just above it, the C sharp, selects minor. So let's do a quick example. This is engine number 3 playing simple phrase 3. I'm going to select this white key switch. And now it's to minor. Right. So this gives you the ultimate flexibility for those kind of pop maybe settings where you don't really need diminished or augmented chords. If you just need basic major and minor in all 12 keys, this engine can do that perfectly for you. So this is, again, just out of the box. Maybe let's select one of these presets really quickly and have a quick listen. Actually, no, this is the phrases light drive I already chose, but let me find one more here. So let's do another discover one. Maybe let's do relaxing drones and see what happens here. So all 5 engines you can see are engaged. Let's have a quick listen to one of these samples. Right, and then if you want to add some external reverb on top of that to really let the tail trail on even further, you can certainly do that. But yeah, because this is more of a drones type of preset, you're not going to get more of like that repetition rhythm type of thing. So that kind of makes sense. Let's maybe try one more here. Phrased guitars. Let's see if we can find these. So in terms of key ranges, pretty similar. Again, we get all 5 engines engaged with the ending samples in the darker blue. So let's have a quick listen. I like this one. It's more subtle. This is engine number 3, complex phrase. So okay, let's play this phrase a little bit. Let's kind of switch keys while we do it. Or switch, yeah. So let's go to F major. This is a really cool bed you can use for adding your own melodies on top, obviously. So here I'm just kind of switching up the loops while keeping the A flat major sound. Maybe let's add another loop on an octave above. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a reversed pedal 7 dry, okay? And then maybe one more on top. Enter number 5. Right. So basically, this, even though this keyboard range looks super complicated, the way you can operate it is pretty simple. Again, the engine has these playable key ranges, and then you can use those ending samples if you want to, but you can switch chords while the loops are actually playing, but you just have to re-trigger those loops if you want to hear that new key. Whereas some libraries, you can click the modulation, I guess, range, right? And then the samples automatically go to that new key while they're already playing. Whereas in this library, you have to re-trigger, you have to replay those notes to activate the new key when you change the key here. And again, just make sure that you know that the black is major, the white key here is minor, just so you know you can trigger between those there as well. So you can basically have a diatonic passage that's very simple. There we go. Okay, let me quickly play for you like a 5-minute thing I put together using one instance of the Ambient designer and then with the instruments patch. I believe I just did this out of the box. So let me just quickly play this for you so you can hear just a really simple example. So here in the Ambient designer, started with one single loop, and now we have 2 of them. And now here's the melody from the instruments patch. And then here you can see the instruments patch. I'm using the main instrument here for the melody in the yellow. Now I'm going to the purple. And then as a counter melody, I'm triggering the orange as more of a pad counter melody. A major. And again, I'm triggering between major and minor here using the black and white keys in the Ambient designer. And then here I went back to the yellow keys for the last part of the melody here. And that's it. So yeah, did that really, really quickly, but you can see how easy it is to use this library to create not just melodies with these electric guitars, but full entire soundscapes. And they give you so many sounds you can go through. Again, definitely check out the Vir2 channel because they have entire videos dedicated to the presets playthroughing, preset playthroughs, and an entire like intro to the library, but also an in-depth walkthrough and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the library and show you some of the potential that you could pull from this. Hopefully it kind of gives you some ideas if you're interested in this type of library that has that sort of ethereal cinematic guitar sound. This might be something that really suits your toolkit. So let's kind of get into the giveaway. All you really need to do is those same 3 rules. Number 1, make sure you fill out the form below. That will enter you into the system, and I will email out within a couple of days to all the entrants to let you know who the winner is. Number 2, make sure you leave a comment below this video. Let me know what you would use the library for. Maybe let me know which instrument feels the most inspiring to you and which one really kind of gets you excited. And then 3rd and finally, just leave a like on the video. It always helps and it's greatly appreciated. So if you follow those 3 rules, you'll automatically be entered to potentially win a copy of this library. Again, I'll email out in a couple of days to let you know who that is, but make sure you fill out the form so I have your information so I can actually contact you, okay? That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and take care, my friends. Bye-bye.